Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first Friday Rambling of 2021. I am, of course, David the Bardic one, because I'm the host of the Friday Rambling, and that's what we are watching, as I just said. We are, of course, happy to wish you a Happy New Year, and I decided that we were going to start this year off both positive and putting a little bit on a twist on some social media memes that have been way too freaking prevalent over the last 3 to 4 months. And that is all of this, oh, 2020 was so horrible. Oh my God, I can't wait for 2021. Oh my God, y'all make sure when 2021 comes around, you say, oh, Jumanji to end this horrible nightmare. Just, yeah. Yes. 2020 saw a lot of health problems for just huge number of people around the world. And I am not demeaning that. 2020 saw the death of multiple celebrities. And I'm not overlooking that. Some of them were very near and dear to my heart. But the simple fact is that, to varying degrees and for various reasons, a lot of people around the world have health problems every year. They didn't affect every single person on a day-to-day, we have to change what we think about everything we do level, but you know what? It's not the first time it's happened in world history either. And celebrities die every year. I mean, I remember in 2019 people doing the same thing they did in 2020. Oh my God, another one of my favorite entertainers died. Will this year just end already? I love entertainers. I mean, in my own simple way, I'm an entertainer. I'm all about the entertainment business. I do this show. I do the game streams. I write books that are fictional because they are meant to entertain. The Ramblings itself is 99% of the time about the entertainment world. But the fact is, you can't blame the year for these things happening because these things are something that happens every year in different ways and different flavors to different people. And that's just one of the things that just really drives me nuts. So much stuff went weird this year, and everybody's acting like once January 1st, 2021 hits, it's just going to magically go away. Like we were under some sort of time-based curse. I curse the world for 1 year. 366 days precisely. I did say 366. That is not an error because remember 2020 was a leap year. We had an extra day in February. Which really, if some ancient, demonic warlock person was trying to curse us, I give them credit for remembering that leap year. But, getting back to the positive, folks, erasing all of that. The whole point of this is I wanted to do something that I feel like a lot of people are not going to do on January 1st. Which is hopefully when you're watching this. Because this is airing for the first time on January 1st. However, if you are watching it a little bit later, well, hey, no problems. Just understand in context, this is a New Year's Day episode. So, what is this amazing thing I'm going to do? Simple. I'm going to focus on the positives of 2020. That's right, I'm going to work on going into 2021 with a good attitude by remembering all the things that were good in my life in 2020. Some of them may be simple, and some of them may sound like pandering for a minute, but bear with me, because you got to build up these things. You got to work up. It's the way entertainment works, First act, you introduce the concepts and the characters and the conflict. Second act, you get some good stuff going, maybe a couple little short fight scenes. Got to save the big super stuff for Act 3. And that's what we're doing here. And by the way, if you're one of these modern theater lit people that are like, oh no, stories actually have like 5 acts or 7 acts or 29 acts. You know what? I'm old and I'm old school. It is a 3-act structure. That's how I write. That's how I think. That's how we're going to roll. If you want to argue with me about that, that's fine. But you can do it in the comment thread down below. And just understand you're not going to change my mind. I'm not saying that the theory of having more than 3 acts in a story isn't valid, but it's not how I structure my stuff. And since these are my videos, all right, there you go. Get back there. Distracting. Since these are my videos, we're going to structure these videos the way I structure them. And of course, let's start off with that. First thing I got to say about 2020 is thank God male pattern baldness did not kick in quite yet for me. Don't try to show that off too much. I know not everybody, likes that particular look. Plus, it's part of the whole general neat scholarly package I've got rocking here. Got the nicely combed hair. Got the glasses, the very nerdy glasses. Can't always say I'm well shaved. There's some videos where I'm rocking the facial hair because that's kind of my little up and down mood shifting mode. Sometimes I like it smooth. Sometimes, as you've seen, I was rocking a little goatee. Sometimes, I'll go for the full beard. Just depends on my mood. But yes, throughout 2020, I have maintained a little bit of longish hair. Because, well, simply put, as the joke went, I know male pattern baldness is a thing. And frankly put, I figure I like having long hair. Gives me a few more options on what I can do with it. And more importantly, hey, I figure if the hair is going to stay there and the hair is going to grow, why not let it? Have a little more control over my life. Besides, there's a little hint for people that have only seen me from the, this high up. I ain't exactly hairless to begin with. Look at this. Little sneak preview. Don't do this too often, but making a little bit of a point there, folks. I do grow hair all over. It is part of my ancestry. So, seeing as I'm not somebody that's going to bathe in nair on a regular basis, why not have plenty of hair on top of my head? If nature decides to change that for me, along with Father Time, fine, I'll have short hair when I can't grow it any farther. But that was fun in 2020, playing around more with my long hair. One of the others is that, well, I talked about the health issue by and large, and I am happy to say this year I did not experience any major health problems. Not just the big one, not just the big C19, but I managed to avoid winter colds, the flu season, summer colds. Spring pollen didn't hit me as hard as it has in previous years and as hard as it potentially could. So, yeah. Didn't get food poisoning. I have had that in previous years. Did have that once. It was not fun. Thankfully, it was a relatively mild case. But for reference, folks, the worst part of food poisoning, you don't hear about this a lot. If you do survive it, it messes up your digestion for, like, I think it took me like a week to quit getting heartburn for everything I ate. I mean, even the blandest food was just, ugh. It was like my stomach clearly had gotten beaten up and was not happy with me, and would have been happy if there was just no food in it whatsoever, but the rest of the body disagreed. Thankfully, that was not an experience from 2020, so let's wipe that away. But just little health fact, people. For those of you who want to do some writing, if you ever want to write a character that gets food poisoning, there's something to think about. That, you know, it's not something you just get over with and the next day you're right as rain again. No, there's side effects and recovery period that can linger for days. Because I do care about my writer friends. But still, we are talking positive memories. This channel itself, although it did not start in 2020, I like to think that I ended up doing a lot of great content in this year, as well as got much more into a rhythm, especially in the last few months of this year, or I guess last year, since it is the new year. But the last few months of 2020, I thought I really got into the rhythm of scheduling my time and recording sessions better so that I'm not scrambling to do last-minute episodes. Of course, we all know there was the epic Sigma Star Saga playthrough that went way longer than I thought, but gosh darn it, I ended up stumbling upon a true hidden gem from Way Forward. If you have not watched that playthrough, please watch it. The first couple episodes are a little slow because I had never played the game before, and the intro level is amusingly enough the hardest part of the game. I still say that's the biggest problem with the game. That is the biggest thing that keeps me from giving it a perfect score, is that it is, if you are not a shoot 'em up expert, that intro level will whip your butt so hard. But then once you get into the game and you get the actual RPG mechanics of it, the game becomes much more forgiving. Like, I've played a lot of shoot 'em ups over the years, or shmups, I guess, if you want to be hip and trendy, and I've never really gotten great at them. My partner in crime here on this channel is much better at them, which is why we leave most of those games to his playthrough. But generally, you know, it's a thing. I liked the balance of the two genres, and the story was very engaging. So it ended up being this huge playthrough, partly because there were some times I got lost. There was an episode where like half the content was repeat of the previous episode because my save files didn't save right. You know, there were a few missteps, but in general, it was a very good playthrough. Took a good chunk of the year. But, you know, we also, speaking of that Way Forward theme, I did before that, I did a sports-themed game. Well, an extreme sports-themed game that, you know, it was a solid one-off. Definitely wasn't a game I felt I wanted to 100% because it did require a certain level of video game reflexes that are not my forte. But I liked the way they set everything up and gave it kind of an open sandbox feeling to it. And we found a WWE-themed beat-em-up game that Way Forward did that was very amusing, although the built-in cheat code made it very easy. But those were two great one-off episodes as well. Of course, our Mario World playthrough, which, you know, I got almost 100%. I think I cleared like 90% because I don't know, maybe like 80, somewhere in the high 80s, because I didn't do the like super challenge version of Star Road, which is like 10 levels, and then there were a couple levels of Valley of Bowser that I didn't complete and unlock, so probably like 85%. 90, 88%, but it was a fun playthrough. I enjoyed, unlocking all the different paths and just feeling the nostalgia of a game that gives me a lot of childhood memories. The fact I'm old enough to remember when the Super NES debuted. Because, of course, the launch game was Super Mario World. So that was just a huge thing. That game is just, it always reminds me of childhood. And, I don't have distinct memories of the NES coming out. I have memories of, when I first really started getting into it. But I didn't, buy it the week it came out. I was a little too young for that, and I was, of course we had our Atari for a little bit. So, the Super Nintendo was the first console I can really, remember looking forward to, feeling the hype for its release for. And Super Mario World was a big part of that hype and that initial release. So, it was a big playthrough for that. I've done a lot of great Ramblings episodes this year. We did our second annual Halloween theme. We did some nice Thanksgiving episodes. We did our second annual Christmas review. This one actually aired last week on Christmas Day, so it was super special, thanks to calendar timing. So yeah, the channel's really grown. We introduced Generation eXpletive. Good year for the channel. I will say that. Good year for the channel. Speaking of things, entertainment. Got to see the New Mutants in theater. The last X-Men movie that's going to be made by Fox. And a movie that, as somebody who has read the early years of the New Mutants comic book, including the Demon Bear storyline the movie was based off of, and has long been a fan of many of those characters, especially Illyana. Although, of course, Sam and Sunspot are... God, see, that's how you know I'm a comic nerd, when I mix real names, code names. Sam and Roberto, Bobby, are both great characters, especially when they play off each other. Long-standing best friends in the comics. Seeing them finally make the big screen after multiple filming delays and reshoots and long editing period. That film took a lot to get to theater. If you ever want to go back and look into the production history of that film, that really was a film that almost didn't get made. But it was a good time. I saw it with my girlfriend, along with my best friend and his wife. It was a nice double date, so that made the experience even more memorable. To be able to do something like that, it's not something I do a lot, the whole double date thing, but my buddy and I do see it almost every superhero movie together. Because we're both big comic book nerds, and getting to involve our loved ones with that definitely amped up the importance of that memory. So that's something I'll enjoy for years to come. Had a good birthday. Had to change some plans because my birthday is in the spring, right when everything hit, and everybody had to shut down and cancel and change the way their businesses work to compensate for the new health concerns. But it still worked out nicely. I still had a good birthday, had a nice birthday dinner with the family. Didn't have to go to work that day, which is always a plus when you can not have to work on your birthday. So, made the best of a Plan B situation. Which is something I think we've all had to do this year. Plan B and C and D and E. Speaking of days off and holidays, I've long been a visitor of Haunted Montrose, which is a local haunted house attraction in my part of the country, specifically my part of the state. of Georgia, that this was the first year I was able to take said girlfriend. And so that was a nice experience for us. Got to introduce her to something that has been an important tradition and ritual for my Halloween season for many, many years now. I think it was 12th year I went, 13th year for the attraction. I was not aware of it the first year. But it was a very good time. You know, summer was alright. I mostly worked. I mean, the fact I have a job, honestly, it's kind of a blessing and a curse. 2020, you know, a lot of people got furloughed or just plain laid off, you know, big unemployment situation. Not going to get into any of the politics of it. We do not do politics on this channel. Or especially not on this show. We are not going to get into politics. I'm not going to discuss my political opinions. I'm not going to swear allegiance to any political party. That's just not going to happen on this channel. We're not going to get into it. But the simple fact is, a lot of people had problems working regularly or at all this year. And even though I definitely, you know, can get worn out by my job and beaten down by it, the fact I was able to continue working meant a lot, because it provided a lot of stability for myself. And given that I am not exactly a master of running my life and being responsible, having stability to build everything else on was a good thing. Which, of course, is, I think, how we're going to wrap up this episode. And that is that I still have my girlfriend. The same girlfriend I had in 2019. I have maintained that relationship right here through 2020. This is the longest relationship I have been in. It has been very happy for me, and hopefully very happy for her. She is not here right now for me to interrogate about that, but she keeps telling me she's happy and she keeps coming back for more, so I figure that is a good sign. Hopefully. And I do plan on keeping her around through 2021. So, yes. Love life success, despite all the craziness of the year. You know, generally after that, though, it's pretty much just the stuff that everybody enjoys every year. Enjoyed my professional wrestling hobby, you know, watching it, talking about it. I've enjoyed comic books. Oh, that's it. That's the big one I want to talk about. Sorry, I had this note earlier. It's what I get for not having my notes in front of me when I record this one. Try to do this one a little more freeform improv, because this was very much, this wasn't a research educational type video. But real quick backstory: the G.I. Joe we all know and love, with its wide assorted characters with code names and gimmicks galore. One of the masterminds behind it is a gentleman named Larry Hama, who, besides being a comic book writer, is also a military veteran. Now, Larry Hama was a military veteran when he got pegged by Marvel to write the G.I. Joe comic book that, along with the cartoon, made it into a cultural institution that has continued to get reborn and revived into the current day. Now, the key part about that is, while I had in previous years read the original Marvel Larry Hama run, which I have in its complete form in digital format, this year I did start and catch up to, and in keeping pace with, his IDW return. Not just to G.I. Joe, but that same timeline. The basics of it is that IDW runs multiple G.I. Joe continuities, one of which is written by Larry Hama and is a continuation of the original Marvel Comics run. Whereas the others are we're starting fresh situation for, new readers that like a fresh jumping on point. And that's the thing. It's for, as in all things, it's whatever works for you. Whichever one you prefer. Great. I'm glad you have a comic you read. You should really support IDW. They do a lot of great things. I've spoken of them extensively with their Ghostbusters and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles work. But yes, the Volume 2 of G.I. Joe Real American Hero has been a wonderful read. I'm glad that they were able to continue that timeline, or continuity, whichever term you prefer, that they were able to do it with the original writer. And more importantly, I'm glad that Larry Hama is not only still with us in body, but creatively. He did a lot of other work for Marvel besides G.I. Joe, as well as some work with some other companies. I'm sure we will no doubt give him a video highlighting him specifically, but I'm glad that he is still writing, and he's writing something that he enjoys writing, because that's the best stuff to read. When it's something the author is writing because they genuinely enjoy it. It's not something they're being forced to crank out to fulfill contractual obligations, or they're writing it because, well, we're going to make a sequel whether you're involved or not because we have the legal rights to, so I guess we can just keep you involved. And I'm not even making a situation up, folks. That has happened before. Usually in movies, Hollywood's infamous about that. But that has happened before. And sometimes it can really, really be horrible. But we are thinking of the positive. We're going to end this on a positive note. So, if you are familiar with the original Marvel G.I. Joe comic, please go check out the Volume 2 run by IDW. It is a very good read. It really just feels like a classic comic book, given a bit of modern juicing up and re-energizing. Because I will go ahead and say that about Volume 1 of the original comic. Unfortunately, that comic did run for over 100 issues and outran the cartoon. By the time that comic ended, the toy line was sputtering to a very down period. And unfortunately, those last couple years of the comic, you could really tell that because of Hasbro's contractually obligated creative influence and oversight, that, there were times where the scripts were just not as good as they could have been. Because, we got to incorporate the new designs for the new costume variant toys. We got to use this new character, at least for a couple issues. It happens with licensed comics. They're still readable, but when you read the whole run, especially in a binge fashion, like I tend to do, you can see a point where it's like, yeah, you kind of, once you get to that last issue, although the last couple issues do pick up nicely, you can kind of see why it's like, yeah, this might be time to give this concept a rest. But fortunately, it was not an eternal rest, so good job, IDW. Besides the usual Ghostbusters and Ninja Turtles fun, you gave me a revived interest in G.I. Joe in comic book form. I look forward to reading more of those in 2021. I look forward to everybody hopefully having good health, good memories, and who knows what I'll be thinking 2021 for when we do another one of these New Year wrap-ups. But as always, we're going to be positive. And I'm going to be here all year for you. With the ramblings, with the game streams, with Generation eXpletive, along with my partner and his tool-assisted playthrough runs, because we are Roulette Productions. We are just getting started. The hair insists on showing itself off because it's excited about the new year. Yeah. It's when you get like that one little strand. That's what's so distracting, you know? The whole thing's just lion maning out. Who cares? It's just lion maning. You got that one stubborn little strand. I refuse to let you be on camera. Haha, I got you. But Roulette Productions is just gearing up. We will be here throughout 2021. We will provide you with all the entertainment you can handle. We will provide you with all the education about your entertainment that you can handle. And we will continue to stay positive because negativity is easy. Constructive criticism and flat-out praising, that seems to be something a lot of people find tricky. So we're going to step our game up and we're going to encourage it. See you in 7.